We need to redefine what experience means in the games industry, because we've all seen those job applications, 3 to 5 years experience for a junior role. How does a junior get 3 to 5 experience is often the question asked. So we need to redefine experience is not necessarily working at a studio, working on projects. Experience is production. So let's talk about steps that we can get experience and we can get that production under our belt without necessarily getting a job at a studio. Hi everyone, I'm Piers Duplock, producer and games industry consultant. I've been doing this job for 15 years now, and believe me, there's a lot of ways we can gather experience without necessarily working in a studio environment. So today we're going to deep dive into ways that we can kind of do that, and I just want to give you some ideas. Maybe you follow all of these, maybe you follow some of these, maybe you follow none of these. It's just ideas to get your mind going on ways that you can gather experience as well. So the first strategy, I'm going to call it the shipped simulation. It's basically you take game jams, because we've all been told, hey, do game jams. That'll get you something on your portfolio. I've given that advice. I know tons of other people have given that advice, but how can we actually turn that into something super positive? Because we've all done game jams before. So we're going to simulate a shipping experience. We're going to do our game jam, but we're not going to stop there, because what a game jam usually is you do it for 48 hours, maybe longer if you do have the time for that. You burn out and then you upload a broken build, right? Sometimes that happens, but you shouldn't quit at that point, because that's not a shipped simulation, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to take the last game jam we did and we're going to spend 2 weeks on it after the fact. So we're going to do the game jam, 48 hours, whatever. And then we're going to spend 2 weeks after that getting ready for a shipping environment. So week 1, we're going to spend tech debt. We're going to get rid of all the spaghetti code. We're going to tidy things up behind the scenes so the game actually works, runs, can load. Week 2 is going to be spent doing UX and onboarding. Stuff like, does your game have a settings menu? Can I change the volume? Is there a tutorial? Super basic stuff that sometimes does get left behind in a game jam. And then in your portfolio, you can show the finished game jam, which, sometimes isn't that great, buggy, messy, broken perhaps. And then you can show your professional, polished product there right next to it. A bit of a and B, and you can say, hey, yeah, we did this for the game jam, but I spent some extra time, fixed it up, look at it now. That's a brilliant portfolio piece that I'd love to see. Strategy number 2, I'm going to call the mercenary QA. And it's basically about forcing your way into a QA team. Because let's face it, we've all been part of a game community where people are passing bug reports. And by that, I mean, hey, the game crashed. Okay, that doesn't really help me. Like, as an indie developer, that doesn't really help me, but thank you. What you would like to do, or what you'd like to see, is somebody act as a real embedded QA tester. And the people that do are like gold dust. So what you need to do here, the specific steps, is find a game in alpha or beta, download it, and when you find a bug, you not just report it, you make sure you do a proper Jira style report. You record your screen, you have your input display overlay on screen so the developers can see what you're pressing at the exact right time, and you reproduce that bug 3 times in a row. You get that reproducibility rate, because that is super important to know if it's 100%, if it's 10%, whatever. It's just good to know. Then once you've got all that information, you can go to the developers bug channel on Discord and Reddit, wherever they're hosting it, and you can post in a Jira style report a summary of what happened, the severity, does it block gameplay, is it critical? Does it crash? Or is it just like a minor texture issue? The steps to go make it happen. Step 1, go to this level. Step 2, push up against this wall. Step 3, fall out of the level. Something like that. And then your evidence. Post a link to your video if you made a video of it. Maybe it's an unlisted YouTube video. Post a link to that as well. And then if you do that 3, 4, 5 times, I guarantee you the developers of this game will know your name, and they'll be asking you questions about how to test their game, because you just made yourself so valuable to this company that they're willing to hit you up. And that is super important experience. It can definitely go on a CV. The third strategy specifically for programmers is the Git flow proof. Now, one of the reasons why junior developers don't get hired is because of pipeline risk, honestly. We don't know if you can use version control without deleting everything. And trust me, sometimes that does happen. Perforce repo can just go away one day. So to get around this, you need to simulate a team environment, even if you are alone. So you're contributing to something on GitHub, create your own dev branch. And when you build a new feature, create a feature branch, make your changes, and then open a pull request against your own code. Write a description of what you've changed, review your own files, then merge it. Why are you doing this? Because when I look at your GitHub, I can see your network graph. I can see you understand branching strategy. I can see you can merge code safely. And in an interview, you can honestly say, yes, I follow Git flow practices when merging code. Boom, a massive checkbox on your CV. One of the things we do in the industry, particularly in AAA, but it also happens in the indie space as well, is we look at other games and we think, man, that mechanic looks cool. I want to use it too. It's a big part of the industry. So demonstrate that you can do that too. If you really like a mechanic, say like the grapple hook from Titanfall, which then appeared in Doom and Halo, so just saying, or the inventory system from Resident Evil, which again has appeared everywhere since that game, maybe even the dialogue system from a few games like Baldur's Gate or something like that. Why don't you show how you can reverse engineer that and recreate it? Because that's going to be a big skill that a lot of companies are going to want to see. If you do this well enough, it'll show me that you can reverse engineer design constraints and use complex math to kind of work that stuff out. And it'd also give you a very clear title piece for your portfolio. Imagine saying recreating the Titanfall movement controller in your portfolio. Recruiter will instantly love that. So it'll be fantastic for your portfolio piece. And as long as you nail it, it'll be a fantastic piece for your career going forward as well. Another one for the designers out there could be the wiki contributor strategy. So designers, it's actually a lot about documentation. So if you think about it, contributing to a wiki, it's actually a pretty smart tactic. Experience isn't just about making games, it's about documenting them as well. So go find a game that has a bad wiki or really messy documentation, write a guide, build a strategy, build a mechanics guide for that game. You've nailed two birds with one stone. Break down the damage formula, graph the loot drop rates, explain the AI behavior tree. This is exactly what a designer does all day. So just do it for somebody else's game on their wiki and then use it as a portfolio piece for you as well. It'll prove that you have system design skills without ever shipping a game. Very smart. All of these strategies go off the same premise. You don't need a boss to give you work. You just give yourself the work that looks like a boss would give you work. Ship the patch, write the professional bug report, use Git branches, clone the mechanic, fill your resume with all of that stuff, and companies will be lining up to have you in their departments because suddenly you're not a junior with no experience. You're a self-starter who is production ready. And that's who gets hired, honestly. Now, like I said at the start of the video, go out, take one of these, go out and take all of these. Maybe you go out and take none of these, but hopefully it just got your mind switched into a new gear of ways that you can work independently that will add to your portfolio that can get you in the door. If you're interested in strategy personalized to you, feel free to book a call with me. I'm going to put a link in the description below that you can use to book a slot with me, and we can go over the specifics of what you need, your portfolio, and we can build a strategy together. So feel free to do that. Also post in the comments what you're currently doing to build out your portfolio, to build out your skill set, your CV. I'd love to hear it. So please do that. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.